right, here for 18, we are looking for which choice best supports the main point of the paragraph. So let's first, at least skim this and figure out what main point it could possibly be talking about. The paragraph starts off with saying that the committee was charged with saving the tower without ruining its aesthetic. It was also told that the committee's first attempt to reduce, okay, so not even remove, but reduce the angle. So this is how they did it. Okay, so it describes basically two attempts at doing this. But again, a little bit interesting that it was reduce and not like straighten or like remove the angle. So they didn't want to actually completely straighten it out. So does the current version support this main, or this at least, these points? It's a little bit hard to condense this into one single point, but I guess you could basically say that the committee was charged with saving the tower without ruining its aesthetic, and so far they tried two things that didn't actually really work out. So first one is just which no one had yet managed to achieve. Does this really support it? I mean, it's certainly useful to know that I guess at this point no one had yet managed to do it, but it doesn't actually support anything that's really said here. So I would let's look at our options. B, although not everyone on the committee agreed completely about what that aesthetic was. Again, maybe useful information to know, but doesn't actually support anything here that is said. So what about C, which meant somehow preserving the tower's tilt while preventing that tilt from increasing and toppling the tower? Okay, that seems to at least be much more relevant to the actual text than the first two options. We're basically qualifying what is meant by its aesthetic, which meant somehow preserving the tower's tilt, and this also sort of matches with this right here, right? Again, the reduction of the tilt, not the removal. So this seems much more in line with what's being said here and sort of explaining what's meant by aesthetic, and it kind of sets up the next example, or not the next example, I'm sorry, but the description of this first attempt. So D, which included pristine white marble finish that has come to be widely associated with the tower's beauty. Okay, so this option also sort of does at least a little bit to explain what is meant by aesthetic here, just like C does, but it doesn't really set up the coming example, and it doesn't really have to do with anything else that is talked about in this paragraph, while C explains aesthetic and actually connects this first sentence with what's coming next, because we're talking about the tilt of the tower, not like the white marble finish. So for that reason, C is going to be our answer.